Did you know that St. Luke's University Health Network, based in the Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania, has been recognized by the U.S. government as the highest performing health system in the United States for quality? You heard right. St. Luke's #1 recognition affirms our status as the top leader among the most respected healthcare providers in the nation, including Houston Methodist and the Mayo Clinic. To state it simply, if you want to receive the best care when you go to a hospital, come to St. Luke's.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi.
Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
96 even on Tuesday, which is a little too much. I'm sorry. In August, maybe I could tolerate this. July. Anyway, Bruce Springsteen still touring. I went to one Springsteen concert. It was 2003 at what was called then Giants Stadium, and it was a great concert. He's an excellent live performer. And this is before Springsteen really just, and look, I get everybody has an opinion about politics these days, but every election cycle, I got to hear how, you know, the world's coming to an end, and then he endorses the Democrat, and he talks about like how he's this guy who's a champion of the middle class. And then you go look at his house down in Rumson, New Jersey sometimes. Trust me, hard to be relatable if you're Springsteen, charging the kind of money he does for his concerts, by the way, and tickets. But anyway, now he's kind of like a liberal icon. And in this case, Johnny from Jesse Waters Primetime went to a Springsteen concert in the area. And boy, not exactly a lot of happiness found at these things. Let's put it that way. Let's go with cut number 18, go.
Do you love Bruce's politics?
Yes.
I'm a limousine lib.
What's going on in our country now is terrible.
Great. And then cut 19. You just play them back to back here, Kev. 19, 20, 21, go.
No, you can't be too political. He's a patriot.
Everybody has their political opinion.
What do you do for a living?
Actually a musician myself.
Do you talk politics at your concerts?
No.
President Trump says he has an incurable case of TDS. Does he?
The people who have TDS are the MAGA population.
What do you mean?
Oh, I can't start giving you tips.
How do you feel about Donald Trump?
I have a degree in psychology, a master's in psychology, and the man has a mental problem.
What does he have?
I don't know what it is.
But I thought you had a degree.
I have a degree, but if you have a degree, oh gosh.
I mean, maybe not so much hate, but stupidity. That's probably the better word to describe some of those cuts. I love that one lady where she's like, the only people that have TDS are the MAGA folks. And Johnny's like, oh, how could that be? Why would somebody who supports the president have Trump derangement syndrome? It's just, I don't know, silly stuff, man. And I mean, Bruce goes on for a while too. I mean, a long time at these concerts. And it's like, dude, just play, Born to Run, right? Born in the USA. Jungle Land's my favorite, but enough about Springsteen. Anyway, JD Vance was in Maine yesterday, and he was there to endorse Susan Collins. Now, you could say, well, why Susan Collins? Because she's a rhino. She votes against Trump half the time. Well, your alternative in this case is Graham Plattner, the Nazi tattoo guy who is a declared communist, a guy who praised Hamas for killing some Israeli soldiers not too long ago. That guy. The guy who also said that if he gets into power and Democrats take back the Senate, they'll immediately begin the process of impeaching conservative judges from the Supreme Court. All right, so that is your alternative. So while Collins, obviously not perfect in any way, shape, or form for the MAGA movement, at the same time, here is JD. And, well, he's very good in these situations, I got to say. Cut number 1, go.
Now, my friend and former Senate colleague Susan Collins was not able to be here. Susan is back in D.C. She doesn't like to miss votes. And here's the thing I'll say about Susan Collins is sometimes I get frustrated with Susan Collins. I almost wish that she was more partisan. But the thing I love about Susan is she is independent because Maine is an independent state. And frankly, if she was as partisan as I sometimes wish that she was, she would not be a good fit for the people of Maine. So let's give a shout out to Susan Collins, who's doing a great job. We have got.
And there you go. And it's just so true. I mean, in some states, you could afford to be the person that goes hard to the right, because if you're a senator from Alabama, okay, great, it's a deep red state. Maine, to be a Republican in that state, which hasn't gone to a Republican presidential candidate, I believe George W. Bush was the last one to win that in 2004. you got to walk a very tough tightrope. And it's why Collins, which again, I think sometimes she could do better. But she is the one who got Brett Kavanaugh over the finish line when people thought that she was wavering as far as his nomination. And she ended up being the deciding vote. So, yes, she has done some good things. And again, Graham friggin' Plattner is your alternative in the lobster states. Meanwhile, Ron Johnson, he is a senator from Wisconsin. He's calling out the media for not covering the COVID vaccine effects that, again, when we look back on COVID and the fact that there were some pharmaceutical companies like Moderna and Pfizer who it was great. It felt like at the time to get the vaccine out as quickly as possible. But, usually these things take many years and lots of layers of testing before they're injected into the arms of tens of millions, even more Americans in this case and around the world. And now we're seeing that maybe it wasn't all what it was cracked up to be. That's certainly for sure. And here's Johnson saying, hey, why doesn't the media care about this? Well, I think we know why. Cut number 3, go.
I need the mainstream media, CBS, ABC, CNN, to step forward and start covering what is a major scandal. How many thousands, tens, hundreds of thousands of people are permanently disabled or possibly lost their life because our FDA hid the fact that there were safety signals screaming at them with the COVID injection.
Yeah, and this seems to be a big yawn when it comes to everything COVID, right? The fact that forever it was shoved down our throats that it absolutely had to come from some rogue bat in a wet market, when it was obvious that, when there's a Wuhan coronavirus institute that studies coronaviruses and then an outbreak happens in the same town, just like Jon Stewart once famously said, if there was a chocolate outbreak in Hershey, Pennsylvania, I'm pretty sure the first place you're going to look is the friggin' chocolate factory if it came from there. So, just overall in those lockdowns, I mean, just, again, that was the worst, I think, and I guess I've had a pretty good life compared to, like, I was watching Saving Private Ryan for whatever reason late last night, and I'm like, oh boy. I mean, I imagine, like, being called to go fight in that war and storm that beach. I mean, those first 13 minutes are brutal. But, in my life, since I haven't fought in any wars and I've had a healthy life, good family, I haven't had to deal with any real adverse things. But boy, that 2 years of COVID was just the worst. And for me, selfishly, it was because there was no sports on for many, many months. And when they did come back, there was no one in the stands, which was really awkward to watch, And then one day they said, okay, everybody can go back in the stadiums now. And we kind of like, we probably could have done that all along because outdoors isn't really where this thing is transmitted. But anyway, I get depressed even talking about it. But yeah, Ron Johnson's exactly right. We need more answers to this, not just memory hold the thing, so we can learn how to not go through something like that again. Meanwhile, Jesse Waters on the 5 last night, boy, Jesse was a producer at one point that Bill O'Reilly actually just handpicked and said, why don't you go out and do man on the street interviews? And Jesse did that for years, which is thankless. I've done those before. It looks fun. It's not. A lot of people are real a-holes. And especially if they know you're from Fox, one guy wished death on me last year, which wasn't very nice because Sean Hannity sent me into, I believe it was Bryant Park during the height of the Tesla Elon Musk protests. And the minute people found out you were from Fox, guys, I wish you would literally die. It's like, okay, that's nice. It's not fun. And Jesse did that for years and then got the opportunity to do a weekend show that he did on Saturday night. And then before you know it, some changes at Fox, including, O'Reilly, Megyn Kelly, Greta Van Susteren. 3/4 of its primetime lineup in the span of about a year was gone. But like I always like to say about my network, we're like Alabama football. We don't rebuild, we reload, and the bench is so deep. And then Jesse took over the 8 o'clock spot, and he had to follow Tucker Carlson, which, remember, at the time, Tucker was number one. And when obviously advertisers stopped advertising on his show and he wasn't making the network any money, and they got rid of Tucker because he was becoming a big headache from a PR perspective, very few people probably would imagine that Jesse was going to outperform Tucker, but he is now. His ratings are higher. And his show is just, trust me, I know the way these shows are put together, meticulously written. It's the best written show, I think, on Fox. And it's just got the perfect tone for 8 o'clock prime time. It's a mix of, some of the serious stuff, but more of a mockery, kind of like this show, actually, of just how crazy things are becoming, particularly in Washington and this country. Anyway, here's Jesse on the other show that he's on, The Five, which gets like 4-point-something million viewers at 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which is insane, on the Democratic Party and how maybe we're just being scammed completely and totally. Cut number 4, go.
I'm beginning to think the entire Democratic Party is a whole scam. What is it really about? Stealing money, flooding the country with illegals, and calling us racists. That's it. Every time you look under the hood, all you find are scams. COVID. Wait a second. Fauci funded the lab where the virus came from? Whoa! Somali daycare, $19 billion. Wait a second. There's no children in the daycare center. What happened to USAID? None of the money left D.C. It all went to Democrats there. Everything. Russia, Hunter, whatever happened to the Green New Deal?
Yeah.
It was about $1 trillion, right? Where are the windmills?
The green.
Where are the solar panels? Where'd they go? I haven't seen anything. They haven't even built the little charging stations for the EVs. Where did it go? How about Omar? Omar, the other day, was worth $100,000. Next month, she was worth $30 million. Then she went back down to $100,000. How does that happen? They put Donald Trump on trial because of a bookkeeping thing. And she just gets away with inflating and deflating her net worth. Maybe she's hiding the money. Maybe there was never any money.
Yeah. I mean, boy, that's a long laundry list, but it's all true. And where did it go? The Green New Deal. Exactly. Again, AOC said the world would end by 2031, that we would be completely and totally on a planet that was uninhabitable. And now that's just kind of forgotten. We're going to forget that she said that. And literally, if she had her way, more than $1 trillion would have gone towards climate change that does not remotely exist to the degree that she was arguing. I feel like that, the world's going to be just fine by 2031. But anyway, yeah, all great points by Mr. Waters. Anyway, before I leave, I have to tell you that we're going to be on Sunday as well. That's 11 a.m. Eastern time, and that is the Joe Concha Tunnel to Towers Foundation show, 11 a.m. to 12 noon, so hopefully you will tune in. But in the meantime, we still have a show here to wrap up, and we wrap up this puppy in just a moment.